I think Alexa Bliss is turning heel tonight.
If anybody's going to turn, I think it's Jey Uso.
We need to have a serious conversation about the Wyatt Six. Welcome to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, a show where a rotating cast of wrestling fans from around the world come and share and debate their opinions, with live comments from all of you shown throughout, as after all, fans are what makes wrestling so special. So sit back, grab a beverage, and enjoy the show. I think Alexa Bliss is turning heel tonight at Survivor Series War Games, and the reason why I am theorizing this is last night's SmackDown. Very rarely in a War Games blood and guts, whatever you want to call it, match, do a face team get the advantage. Why? Well, because it is ridiculously hard to book. But last night, Charlotte just beat Asuka completely cleanly, and that threw me off a little bit, because not only was I expecting the heels to win, but I thought if they did win, there would at least be some controversy or something like that. There wasn't. It was clean. But also, interestingly, Alexa didn't come out after the match to celebrate with Charlotte or anything like that. Charlotte was just on her own. And we know now the main story of this Women's War Games match has been Alexa persuading Charlotte to actually join the team. So I do predict tonight in War Games, Alexa Bliss is going to do a Dakota Kai to Tegan Nox, and she is going to take out Charlotte Flair, and that is why the babyface team will actually have a disadvantage.
It is needed. I actually agree 100% with you, Ben. I think Bliss turns tonight. Alexa Bliss, a long time ago, I know people forget, was such an elite heel character. The goddess, the ability of promo she does, just being that bully, man, she's such a great heel. And I think she has done all that she needs to do as a babyface with this partnership with Charlotte Flair. I think the main objective was, how are we to get Charlotte to be babyface? How do we get her as a main event babyface again, being a potential opponent for now our heel world champion, Jade Cargill? You have to give them a lot of credit on the repackage of Charlotte Flair after the Tiffany Stratton feud and everything that kind of unraveled within that.
It's a tricky situation because I've said before, I don't think the women's tag division is exactly stacked. So I don't know what void that creates for them. I think there's also a potential problem is Alexa is so over with the audience that even if she turns heel, they may still cheer her and boo Charlotte. Like, that's the threat that they have. I don't know if Charlotte has enough capital as a babyface to carry it as a babyface. She's another one that's a natural heel. Could she play a babyface? Yeah. Is it as believable? Maybe not so much. If anybody's going to turn, I think it's Jey Uso. I think that my money would be on Jey Uso of anybody turning tonight.
Well, I thought that until last night's SmackDown, which we'll get onto right now. Fantastic segue, because Jey Uso beat Rusev, which means he's in the semi-finals of the tournament. And this means I don't think Jey Uso is turning heel, because if he was turning heel, I think he would have lost last night, because I don't think he's going to lose his first match as a heel. But regardless, Jey Uso defeated Rusev and advanced, and then the mystery person was The Miz. Now, I'm going to be honest, when I first heard this, I absolutely hated it. But the way they did it in that segment last night with the balls and R-Truth and Miz swapping it, I really liked it. I found it really funny. But my issue is, I think this should have happened on last week's SmackDown. Because if this segment happened then, it would have been just a really good segment. But because they made people wait for a week, and of course the spoilers were out there a bit, but even still,
technically it did happen last week.
That's my point. So they could have done it last week, and then people would have had their hopes up less. I can't, for the life of me, understand why they waited for this week for it to be The Miz.
The Miz, I wouldn't have gone The Miz. I probably would have went Truth because he hadn't gotten his, and they kept this buildup of, Nick Aldis not respecting his balls, as they emphasized every week. Like, you can't be doing these segments with him and that not lead to him even being in this thing. I think that's a mistake. The Miz had a shot, so I think you kind of either put somebody else in there or do a second chance or do something. I wouldn't have done what they did last night.
In my opinion, last night, both matches were fine. They did their job. Jey Uso, Jey Uso makes sense to be at this position. The fact that we got to talk about the beginning, right? Cena, Rumble, eliminated by Jey Uso. The potential for him to be his last opponent, and if Cena is to retire a victor, that makes a lot of sense. You also throw the curveball, maybe Jey goes heel. I don't know. That could make a lot of sense towards it. But regardless of what it is, man, Jey is a big time star at the end of the day, whether people want to, argue it or not.
Up next, I want to talk about the traditional Survivor Series match because it returned last night on SmackDown. It's been gone for a few years. They acted like it's been gone for decades. It hasn't. It's only been a few years, but they acted like it had been gone for a while. And I really enjoyed this match last night. I thought it was a lot of fun, but I did have a couple of issues with it. And pretty much all of that came down to one issue, and that was that I felt it was a little bit too short. Because I felt, firstly, JC Mateo got pinned way too quickly and way too cleanly. He looked like a borderline jobber in there. But then the same thing pretty much a minute later happened to Nakamura as well, where he was pinned successfully, and it wasn't even Tama Tonga's finisher. It was all just a little bit rushed, a little bit confusing, but I did enjoy it.
Solo is remaining on the hot hand right now. Solo is obviously a name I forgot to mention in the tournament, but he's still in the tournament right now. And he's somebody that needs to kind of ride the momentum, and he needs to kind of build this brand to be a little bit different than what we have as like just bloodline adjacent. And I think they're doing a great job with that. I think they feel like the MFT, something that Solo is the brainchild of and kind of created. And I think all of the guys in the faction have been doing a splendid job. And the second thing is Tala Tonga, formerly known as Hikuleo. I think he looked really good last night. They kept him very strong how he got count out. He got a pinned both Motor City Machine Gun, Sabin and Shelly by himself. And that's kind of what you need. If there's something in that faction, the key figureheads, besides, of course, Solo being the head honcho, is Tama Tonga, who looked really good last night as well. Had the hidden blade also. Shout outs to that. And Tala Tonga. Like, I think those two guys are people that could, at some point, if this faction does break up, I think they can build a bit of a career for themselves as single stars.
The thing with the traditional Survivor Series match in the concept is that it's thrown together teams randomly. And much like the Royal Rumble, feuds can bounce off of there. Maybe you're tagging with a rival that you don't like, or maybe a disagreement takes place during that match, which spins off into its own feud. Like, that's kind of the benefit of the Survivor Series match.
We need to have a serious conversation about the Wyatt Six, because I love Bray Wyatt. I love Bo Dallas. I love the idea of the Wyatt Six. I love the presentation of the Wyatt Six. I love everybody in the Wyatt Six, but it is not working. And I think there are two reasons why it is not working. One is the fact that, some of them keep getting injured, and I think it's Bo Dallas a lot is getting injured or is struggling to get cleared, whatever. But the second issue is that even when one of them is injured, they are taking all of them off TV. They don't need to be doing that. They should not be doing that. The fact that it's so stop, start on TV, off TV, it has just ruined them. And I'm going to be honest, I don't care about the Wyatt Six anymore. Why? Because every time something with them starts, it's bound to stop very soon after. And therefore, it breaks my heart. But I think they're pretty much done. And it pains me to say that.
I got to be perfectly honest. I've never been into the Wyatts. I've never had any interest in this. I've been open about this. I respect Bray Wyatt, but I was never into the Bray Wyatt thing. I never got over that horrible Hell in a Cell match with Seth. The red on red is still the worst match I've ever seen. But I just don't care. Like, I felt like when they brought them in, and I got it, it's a nostalgia type thing. But my concern was, past the nostalgia, does it have legs to go further? And I never thought it did. And I just really, other than an entrance, what are they?
It's a tough one because I do think that there was a lot of excitement, obviously, going into it. You know, we got to see what potentially was the idea and brainchild of what, the late great Bray Wyatt had, and to see, his brother get the opportunity and play the character, not as Bray Wyatt, but the whole Uncle Howdy character that was tied to the last bit before, we lost him. And, talk about this whole faction, the Wyatt Six. We knew about the idea of it with the numbers game, and it coming into live. I feel like there was so much potential, but the potential was never met. And I don't know if expectations were super high, but to be honest with you, they haven't even done anything to meet the minimum at this point.
Thank you to all of you for watching at home. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you did enjoy, and we will see you guys same time, same place tomorrow. Peace.